Mike Delaney. I'm the host of What People with Disabilities Teach Us. And today, for program number 3, we have a well-known person around Covington. Marie Braun is a familiar sight, especially at Christmas time, since she works for the Salvation Army. But she has been involved and engaged in this community for decades, and so she is no stranger to many people and hardly needs an introduction from me. We also have her friend, Vicki Cimprich. Vicki is transcriber of Marie's biography and also is a long-standing friend, maybe we can even say lifelong friend, as well as a person who Marie confides in and understands, and therefore we thought she would be a genuine asset to today's program, that she could contribute to our conversation and enhance the way in which we look at this situation. So, with that, I wanted to say welcome Marie, welcome Vicki. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well,
having Vicki with me.
It's an honor, believe me. More than I immediately knew. Once I started reading your book, your biography that Marie and Vicki compiled called Anyway, My Stories of Advancement and Advocacy, I learned a secret. It's no longer a secret. And I'm going to share it with the viewers, and that is that you're older than me.
Okay. A couple of weeks.
1 week, but I am going to hang on to that. You were born on October 11th, 1953.
Yes.
Our producer, Pam Mullins, is older than both of us, but we won't go there. We'll leave that alone. I was born on October 18th, 1953, so we are all baby boomers. Did you ever think much about being a baby boomer?
Not until I started college.
Not until you started college, and we'll come back to that later, but that hasn't been that long ago.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, we are similar, but in other ways, we're different. You have a visibility when you're in your wheelchair. People say, there's someone with a disability.
Yeah.
I have a disability, but it's what people call invisible.
Yeah.
People don't immediately look at me and say, he's on the autism spectrum. So, but we share something in common. I think Vicki observed that probably at your birth, when your mother gave birth to you, you might have struggled for breathing, as many.
Yeah, the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck. I was bruised.
The umbilical cord was wrapped around your neck. Guess who else had an umbilical cord wrapped around their neck?
You?
I did. Causing me to later need to have heart surgery and a couple of the other things I've mentioned. The difference is I was born at Jewish Hospital in Cincinnati. Where were you born?
Down in Eastern Kentucky. Sebastian Branch, Kentucky.
Sebastian Branch in Breathitt County.
Yeah. In the hollow, at my grandmother's house.
In the hollow at your grandma's house. And Vicki, you said you speculated about the house in which Marie was born. What was your speculation?
Breathitt County is was very remote from organized United States life in the 50s. There would not have been electricity and running water in the house. But the women had perhaps more skills because they had always exercised these functions as midwife and always cared for one another.
I'm going to also remind the viewers and us that this was a full 7 years before Jack Kennedy visited West Virginia in drawing attention to the poverty that existed in Appalachia as part of his presidential campaign. 7 whole years before that. So conditions were no doubt pretty rugged.
The story I heard was that somehow Harry Caudle's book, Night Comes to the Cumberlands, came to the attention of the Kennedy administration. And lots of those copies began circulating in Washington. And that would later lead to the Great War on Poverty, which people who actually lived in those places had mixed feelings about.
Interesting, fascinating.
May I add?
You can add whatever you want.
I'm gonna add that. I was talking to my sister on the phone last week. She said, we must have been poor, but Mommy always made sure the house was clean and the iron was clean. And she scrubbed on the scrubbing board.
Now, you only remained with your mom for a few days, as I...
Yeah, but I went back.
Right. But your mom had some problems too, is that?
Yeah. I think she had a learning disability. Very quiet. She was a very quiet woman. Until she had a temper also. That's why I have a temper, I think.
Well, listen, people often make that criticism of people with disabilities and say, oh, they're outbursts sometimes, but...
And then when you if you're in the institution, they want to give you pills so you can sleep.
Yeah, I mean...
So you can be quiet.
We try to make the case that people with disabilities are quite healthy if they express themselves, and they've got reason to sometimes be upset.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make that point about your humble beginnings because I don't want to make, and I don't ever want to do this with any of our programs about people with disabilities, this is not a pity story. This is...
No, I don't want this to be a pity story.
People with...
I do not want that. You know what I'm saying? Marie's feeling sorry for herself again. I get that. I have so much compassion for everything in life. That's what my problem is.
And the point I want to make is how far you've come.
I came a long way.
And people can come a long way given the opportunity, especially with relationships. If people with disabilities are just able to have other people involved in their lives, it can make all the difference.
Well, we want a chance to live our lives and make our own mistakes, our own goals.
Sure.
It's a God-given right to live how we want to live.
Absolutely.
A lot of people disagree with me.
Well, but I don't think that our viewers, for the most part, are going to disagree.
I'm saying,
yeah.
You people, I've been in my life, you know.
Part of the message that we want to air today, and
I want to teach people we are people too. Now, that's what the People First preaches.
And that's the message we want to uplift today.
Yeah.
And
People First group teaches the disabled people are first.
And that's what people can learn from this program from your life, if other people become involved, look at what can happen from humble beginnings. I mean, your early years were not easy either. You already mentioned that your uncle and his wife came and got you for a couple of years in Newport.
Yeah, they came. He came because his wife had a miscarriage. She was a baby.
And they brought you back to Sebastian Branch.
Now they brought me to Newport.
Well, but when you had to come back after she had.
Yeah, after she died, she
Yeah.
had a kidney failure
And then you came back to Breathitt County for a while.
for a while
And-
until these church people came down, missionaries came down to Breathitt County, and they told my mother she should send me to this place in Frankfurt. It's the old state hospital. It's called. It was called for the feeble-minded.
Okay. Let me wrap up this first segment because we're going to have 5 segments today, and there's so much to talk about with regard to your life. These church people came and suggested to your mother that you go to Frankfurt and the old Frankfurt Hospital.
Yeah, that's what parents put the children back then in the 50s.
We want to talk. Yeah, we want to talk about that and your years in Lexington before moving to Covington in our second segment. So let me just offer that as a segue, and we'll break and come back and talk about this. We're glad to return with Marie Braun and have our second segment of today's show. She is going to share with us some memories and experiences from growing up. And with that, Marie, Vicki, I turn it over to you for your recollection.
I was my experience in the 60s growing up. This couple and their daughter got me out of the old state Frankfurt hospital. Very wonderful with a volunteer down there. She was going to pick another girl to take home with her, but she decided to take me. Excuse me.
Certainly. So she got you from the old state hospital in Frankfurt,
Yeah.
and her name was Lowenthal. And,
Yeah, very wonderful.
okay.
It's really interesting because from Breathitt County Holler to the Lowenthal Furrier family and
They
Lexington.
had a store. They had a store, a fur store.
Yeah.
This girl got around.
It's they took me out there and they got me in foster care. Up there I was in 3 foster homes,
Yeah.
which I was abused
Uh,
for wetting the bed. So the long times got me out at 1, but the third one it was me 2. So
as I recall, one man made you stand up for a long period of time.
yeah, and he tried to kill me twice. And he tried to put my head in the toilet and drown me in the bathtub. That's what I had a lot of scars over that. You know, it's just so. I just don't know why did I deserve that. So
No, no one does.
I didn't. No, nobody deserved that. So I realized I didn't deserve that. So, but anyhow, okay. When Lyndon Johnson was president, 1964. I came up here to Covington, northern Kentucky. I was in a nursing home called Garrett Street Nursing Home.
Can I just interrupt for our viewers and say the Lowenthal's found that none of the foster homes were worked out, and they felt
and the social service.
and social service, and they felt that they were long in years, too far, too advanced to take you themselves. Is that?
Yeah. They would adopt me, but I don't know what happened. They did.
Okay. Continue.
They said they was too old.
Okay.
But they kept in touch with me. The reason I got into Redwood, I found this out. Sister Francis told me. My mentor, Sister Francis, she said because Bill Lowenthal was a doctor by trade. But that's how I got into Redwood. They had to be well known in the community, the parents, so.
And where did you land as far as living?
Garrett Nursing Home.
Garrett Street Nursing Home, and you went to school at Redwood and lived at Garrett Street Nursing Home.
Yeah. Until I was a teenager.
Okay.
Then I went down to local rehab, has this rehabilitation center down in Falmouth, Kentucky, and they told me, rehab told me I wasn't be able to work or do anything. I prayed them along.
How long were you at the rehabilitation center?
For a year. Then I came back here in the Ridgeview.
How were those years as a teenager? By how were they? I mean, did you do things that other kids do? Did you watch television?
Yeah. That's where I got my TV. That's where I used to watch Phil Donahue.
Okay. He'll be glad to know that.
He introduced me, I guess, that introduced me to the Catholic Church that way. And they had all the discussions and programs about the Catholic Church.
So he introduced you to the Catholic Church. When did you meet Father Mertes?
I met him at Redwood.
And how old were you when you met him?
I became a Catholic when I was 16 years old.
I remember that.
Maybe a year before that, I met Father Mertes.
Is your 16th year the same year you were prom queen?
Yeah.
Where were you prom queen, at Redwood?
Yeah.
But you didn't have church opportunities prior to being introduced by Phil Donahue and meeting Father Mertes?
Yeah. No, I did join a church before that, but I was not into the Christian faith. I believe in the Catholic Church, what they teach us.
You went to the school in Falmouth, the state vocational rehab school.
Yeah.
Wanting to do better, you made an attempt at walking, or they
No, to make you get a job, they wouldn't put me to work. They said I'd be there in the shelter workshop, but I proved them wrong.
They said you didn't belong in the sheltered workshop.
They said I did.
Oh, you did, and you didn't care for your job at Redwood.
No, I don't want shelter workshop.
My point is, Marie, you've always been a person that if you weren't satisfied with the way things are,
I will always want to improve.
you wanted to improve. You were.
That when I was in a nursing home, I remember being, I was an advocate then. I didn't know what advocacy was, not that I advocate for, I thought mistreating the patient, the Ridgeview. I went to the head nurse and told him nothing.
When you lived at Ridgeview after you moved from Garrett Street,
Yeah.
you became an advocate for other residents.
Yeah, I didn't know what advocacy back then meant, you know. Because I look back and see I was an advocate then.
Well, this is very interesting. You said that becoming a Catholic was one of the first major choices
Yeah, choices
you
I
were
made.
able to make in your
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
I also think of your relationship with the Darrell at Redwoods as a real significant choice for a teenager.
I want to conclude with something you share in the book, and I'll keep the viewers and audience in suspense. There was an important and influential person in your life who nobody would have thought used profanity, but it made an impression upon you.
Yeah.
That when someone, we'll say, was religious in every other way, but darned if they wanted to say a cuss word, they did. And that,
Oh, yeah.
and that made an impression on you. I just want to suggest this as we conclude on this segment, Marie. Maybe you were a person that felt the need to have your own voice.
Yes.
Would that be fair?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Everybody has to have their own voice.
Okay, well, let's pick up when we come back with segment number 3 and conclude the growing up years there. Okay. We're back, and we are going to resume our conversation with Marie Braun. And Marie is going to tell us about being a young adult and all the things that transpired in her life beginning in the 1970s and moving into the 1980s as we move forward. It's a riveting biography. I assure you we could spend way too much time, more than this program allows, but I'm going to turn it over to Marie and Vicki and let them pick up where we left off now that Marie is all grown up.
Am I all grown up?
Are any of us?
I don't know. My nephew said, what are you going to be when you grow up, Aunt Marie? I don't know. I'm going to college. I guess I'm a late bloomer.
Marie, when I was a foster parent, I learned about attachment disorder. And I think one of the reasons that you have been able to trust people in your life is because in spite of the trauma, there were people in your infancy, childhood, and teen years that you cared a lot about, and they cared a lot about you, and you had some darn good times with them. Does that sound right?
Sometimes no.
What do you mean?
Well, I know you knew that the woods. I knew they always tell me what to do. That's one thing to get me mad now, because when they tell you what to do, you're disabled.
That doesn't sound to me like disability. That sounds to me like adolescence. That's what's happening for all United States kids and their teens.
Yeah.
Stop telling me what to do.
Well, older people say that, stop telling them what to do.
Yes.
And we never get over that.
Is that a good thing?
But sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing.
Do we sometimes need to listen to what people are
Yeah,
telling? Okay.
yeah. and stop judging.
Well, who in your teens and 20s strengthened you rather than knocked you down?
I straightened myself mostly. But there was a few people in this like the parent nurturing I needed. People were really good. Father Bertie's, Sister Fanta's.
Sister of Notre Dame, Francis?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So those were the parenting figures
Yeah.
that you greatly trusted.
Yeah.
And what about the peer people? The people who were more on your level than the parenting people?
My friend Diane
Yeah.
and you. You came to the nursing home just recently. You stuck with me all these years.
Oh, I think I stuck because we had good times.
Yeah. I can be funny sometimes, can't I?
Well, we could get in some funny situations.
Yeah.
When you were prom queen was the year of the 17-year cicadas.
Yeah. And you took me to get my hair done. And we were trying to the lungs around.
I was terrified.
Oh, you was upset.
I was more scared than you were.
Yeah.
And then I learned how to wheelchair dance at your prom.
Yeah.
So you all had some bonding experiences. You had times together.
I was invited to be a bridesmaid
Yeah.
when you married Shelby.
Yeah. You pushed me down the aisle.
Now, who was Shelby?
Shelby was my first husband. Princess Shelby Jones.
And you met Shelby where?
Originally.
Okay. Anything you want to tell us about that?
Well, we had a courtship. I asked him to marry.
You did.
Yeah.
Did you get down on one knee and everything? Or?
No, I couldn't.
Okay.
Shelby was diagnosed as a
As-
teen with Frederick's ataxia.
Yeah.
And I haven't mentioned it, but you are quadriplegic CP, cerebral palsy.
Yes.
So we've been, people are wondering what's Marie's disability. That's yours.
It's quadriplegic cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
There's what's on the land.
But we want to know about everything else about you, and that's why,
Well, I'm just giving some people some info. So, Shelby died after 10 months.
Shelby died after 10 months. Was this something when you announced that you and Shelby were getting married that everybody at Ridgewood was happy?
No.
They weren't.
My godmother wasn't.
So they openly told you they didn't want you to get married.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
She was not come to my wedding. She didn't come to it.
Did not come to your wedding.
That hurt.
Understandably, it hurt. Did you go, Vicki?
I was the bridesmaid.
Well, that's what I thought I heard you said.
Yeah.
But she eventually, Marie, after Shelby died and everything, will remarry, and I wanted to make sure I had the right wedding. So
I tried to play the piano at the second wedding.
Yeah, you had to because the band couldn't make it something happen.
Thankfully, the bride and groom went down that aisle fast because I did not know more than the opening bars of the Beethoven.
you didn't get an encore, did they?
So,
Well, you knew you had.
and then we had the the seminaries from the seminary was there singing, different songs.
You met Bill even before Shelby died, am I correct?
Yeah, they knew each other.
Okay.
Shelby asked Bill to take him. I think Shelby knew he was going to die. He said, will you take care of Marie?
And he did.
Yeah, he did.
How much time did you spend? And then you and Bill got
We went together for 3 years, and then we got married.
And were people more receptive to you getting married to Bill?
Not really.
Not really.
They got the nursing home when we stay. They wanted him to take me home on the weekends. And we said, no, we're not going for that. That's not a marriage.
Now, this was much escalated from the marriage to Shelby because Bill and Marie were going to move out of a nursing home into their own living arrangement, independent.
And you received advice as far as pregnancy, as I recall, and I mean.
Yes. And my social worker, Walter Peters, and Bill and Father Murray said, we don't have any, that pregnancy.
I remember you sharing in your book, you were pretty upset that that people with disabilities don't have desires sexually and things like that.
Yeah.
That you have the same flesh and blood needs that everybody else does.
Yeah, we finally decided I would get Bill sat down and talked to me.
You and Bill married for 13 years. You had your ups and downs. You did things that you'd never done before, like attend a St. Patrick's Day parade. And
you got beer dumped on me.
Got beer dumped on you.
Yeah, I said, never again. You can come over here, celebrate your birthday yourself.
And you fought when Bill got a little tipsy at Christmas parties, but this is what couples do. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
And
well, we was a normal couple, yeah.
Yeah. And
we was normal, that was normal, There's people get upset with their partners.
You had to find yourselves.
Yeah.
And one another. And then Bill has suffered a heart attack in 1984, and that was very difficult.
Yeah.
And it increased your involvement on behalf of people with disabilities in the community, because
we took the mayor behalf and Commissioner Sandy Cohen on a wheelchair tour.
Yeah.
Curl Cups.
Mayor Beeson and company, you took them around on a wheelchair tour.
And Sandy Cohen fell on the curbs was so high.
The curbs were very high in Covington.
Yeah.
In the mid-1980s.
I remember because my former neighbor from Lost a Light sent me a picture of me and some friends sitting by the curb.
I was looking at the corners at 43rd and Winston today, which are like a driveway. And now when I go around Covington and see the ramp-like corners, I think of Marie and Bill and your advocacy.
Oh, yeah.
So,
it's still a process, still going.
Still a force and still going. It's really some growth from Sebastian Brandt's Breathitt County to your participation in the wider community. But I just want to close with remembering, and Bill died.
Yeah.
After 13 years, and it was pretty devastating for you.
Yeah. I still miss him every day.
And that was 1994.
Yeah, but I still miss him.
I understand. I'm saying it's more than 20 years, and you still miss him. In fact, you experienced depression to the point that weren't you hospitalized?
Only a couple of times.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes you all grown up. You have now experienced many of life's hard knocks, and
But I got myself out of that.
I know you did, and we're going to talk about that when we return. We're going to talk about how you've moved on. So we'll stop there and proceed when we come back. Whatever people's positions is on unions and other kinds of organizations, memberships are down in the American Medical Association, the American Nurses Association. People join less, whatever it is. People, except for older adults, seniors now, young people are participating in sports less. Just all across the board. Churches, we all know about the decline in religious attendance across all faith traditions. And church involvement is kind of the engine that drives the train. People who have traditionally gone to church have given more of themselves in all other areas, charitably, volunteering, and so forth. My point is, that hasn't been your life. Your life has become increasingly involved.
Yes.
You want to say something about that?
Well, you talk about going back to church. I decided to go back to being a greeter at church. So, the sister asked me to do it every Sunday. I can't do that, so yeah, I'm getting involved with something else.
You became a minister of hospitality.
Yeah.
Starting when, Marie? How
This past Sunday.
This past Sunday, okay, recently. Okay. But in other ways, did your disability in any way?
I did that in the past,
You were a greeter in the past?
and I decided to go back
Good,
to be a greeter,
good.
so I could be a part of the church.
Vicki, were you going to say something? Go ahead.
One issue that came up with Marie's participation at Mother of God Church in Covington was the elevator. We finally got an elevator, and then lots of difficulties, lots of reconstruction. So for a while, Marie had to be content with not participating in the fellowship, but she didn't complain. I mean, she did complain.
Oh, yeah, I did complain.
Yeah, but she didn't
did I
get
tell you?
mad. You didn't get mad at people.
Father Marie said, I always want everything my way. I said, yes, I do. You gotta make it accessible to people with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So, we finally got an elevator.
You finally got an elevator. Somebody said that relationships and community involvement isn't all about people acting selflessly, but acting rightfully in their own self-interest.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe that you have many times in your life acted rightfully in your self-interest.
Well, you have to do that sometimes to help others.
You have to do that to help others. I hear you.
You have to do that.
You have to stand up for yourself because
Nobody will.
nobody will. I don't want to assume the worst about people. We were talking about trust earlier.
Well, sometimes you can trust a person, sometimes you can't.
Sometimes you can depend on people. Hey, we're all people.
We're making God's image.
We're made in God's image.
That's what the good book says. We're making God's.
But sometimes we forget that.
Yeah, sometimes we do.
Well, here's what, being the greatest, we were talking about being the greatest generation or not being the greatest generation. And what strikes me about you is not that you try to get all this power and so that people pay attention to you for its own sake, or that you want to be noticed, but rather you usually, if you're acting in your own interest, it's because you're doing it rightfully. It's also the interest of what would matter for other
My
people.
brothers and sisters.
Yeah, and so it's not power, it's empowering people.
And which I need more help in the community. Maybe we can make a plug to that. Number 5.
We need more help in the community, and maybe we can,
I need more disabled people to be involved.
because relationships have made a difference with you.
Yeah.
You're not asking for, you're not asking for people to feel sorry for you. You don't want that.
No, I don't. I need help to advocate for it.
You need partnerships.
Yeah, I need partnerships.
And my point that we're going to talk about, in the next section as we move to that final section, is that's kind of what makes you unique. Is you're not looking to be part of any greatest anything.
I just want the best for disabled people.
And you say that in your book. You say this book, Anyway, My Stories of Advancement and Advocacy, is dedicated to people with disabilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why don't we break there and we'll come back for our conclusion in just a moment. Welcome back for our final segment with Marie Braun and Vicki Cimprich. We look forward to hearing about where Marie's life is now and where she hopes it will be, because I was sharing during the break that none of us get to do everything in life that we want to. The morning devotional that I was reading today centered upon the biblical figure of Moses as he arrived just at the edge of the promised land, and all he was able to do was catch a glimpse, a vision of where he had led others to, but would not be able to enter himself, and yet that was enough. It was his work of doing for God what God had called him to do. And so Marie has done a lot. Marie, I'm going to point out that you haven't been able to do everything in life that you might have wanted to do.
Yeah.
But you've done a lot. And where to from here? What do you got going on now, and what do you hope to do in the days that remain?
I'm gonna live a long time. People told me I was gonna live forever. But anyhow.
You would have taken better care of yourself, or what?
Well, they said I'm gonna live a long life.
Okay.
I said, okay, it's up to God. What I'm doing now, I'm going to college at Gateway Community Technical College.
And what grades did you make this last semester?
I got 2 A's.
2 A's, okay.
I'm trying my 8th. I'm planning on transferring
Transferring?
to Northern
Okay.
University.
For viewers who may not know what around this locale, we refer to Northern as just, Northern Kentucky University as just Northern, but go ahead.
Yeah. Then I'm planning on getting my own house. It was one of my dreams. It was Bill's dream to get our own house.
To be independent homeowners. Can I read the post that you recently put on Facebook?
Yeah,
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. It says, "Hello, my name is Marie Braun. I am 62 years old, disabled advocate living in the city of Covington, Kentucky. I live in a senior community and have learned this is not the place for me. My apartment is very small. I have around-the-clock care paid for by my grant that I receive. I've also been working with the Brighton Center in Covington Section 8 to help me locate and work towards my goal of homeownership. This has been my dream for years. I've been saving, however, there will be unforeseen expense, and that is why I ask for help. Please consider donating and sharing my campaign. Thanks for helping me get closer to my dreams, and God bless."
That's good. That's so funny. One I can set that up for me.
So as I retired, you're going to school. You're wanting to get your own home.
I'm with the help others, probably the peer council.
Help others with what kind of counsel?
Peer council.
Peer counseling. Okay, good.
My peers,
Yeah.
because I did a peer count session last week. One of my old friends from the People First Days came to see me. He needs help with housing.
And you're going to continue with your employment with Salvation Army?
Yes, but I want to go do that. I also work for the Center for Accessible Living.
Center for Accessible Living.
Yeah, I can give you our number so you all can call if you need help out there. Just give us a call.
At the center, okay. And I want to, I just want to mention a character reference here for a moment. On cold winter nights, especially in December, when you're collecting there at Latonia Kroger's for the Salvation Army, a lot of us can't wait to get in out of the cold. You're bundled up there in the exposed foyer, night in and night out. It's pretty impressive.
Yes. Yeah, I want you to spend. I like my work at the Salvation Army, but I want to do something else.
Okay.
Because the old bones are getting. It gets cold out there.
Well, I admire your old bones up till now.
But I'm getting better.
Okay. Other dreams, plans that you have? Okay.
Just go to college and finish.
And that is so good, Marie.
I'm doing this for myself. I'm not doing it for nobody else. Senator Jack West was go to college, and I thank him for giving me the encouragement to go back to college.
And we
To go to college, I mean.
and that especially more than anything else today in this program. You just mentioned Senator Jack Westwood again, who was so instrumental in encouraging you to go to Gateway. And there have been other people in your life, Father Mertes and Sister Francis, and even people that you never met in person. You mentioned Martin Luther King Jr. and John F. Kennedy and the Roosevelts, Eleanor and Franklin Delano Roosevelt, that you admired. And there have been many people that you have known personally and have only known from afar that have been influential in encouraging you. Yeah. So that, this program is about what a difference relationships make, like your relationship with Vicki. And it does make such a difference to people with disabilities to be connected.
I feel like I'm going to make a pledge for the conference.
Okay.
In October, the Disability Empowerment Conference. It's going to be October 15th at Gateway on Scott Street, 10 to 3 in the gym area.
This will be about the fifth annual conference?
Yeah.
Okay.
4. So, please come out. Our focus will be on housing for the disabled, and we're gonna focus that.
And I attended my first one last year and it was excellent. So I encourage people to mark their calendars for October 15th.
Please,
Okay.
please come. Also, I want to make a plug about disabled people have an orange flag. I have a campaign getting orange flags out for the disabled who has a wheelchair, so you can be safe. You need that to be safe.
Excellent point.
So you can reach me if you need a flag.
Great point. Thank you for that. Marie, and I count you, even though we're new friends, as among my special friends.
Yeah.
And wish you all the very best with acquiring that new home. I want to thank you for being our guest today on What People with Disabilities Teach Us. Without a doubt, you teach us much, especially about the relationships you shared, the partners you have had in your life's journey, which includes Vicki. Vicki, thank you for participating and being supportive of this.
Thank you.
I look forward to our next program in the future, but I am very grateful we've had this opportunity for someone who's so well known in the community to be featured, and we thank all of you also for viewing today.